In one organization we looked at, they had a crisis plan and they had it on their computers, and their computer experienced malware, which put ransomware on their system and locked everything up and encrypted all their files. And where do you think the plan was? Well, it was encrypted with everything else in their system. The point person was a administrative assistant who happened to have printed out the cyber crisis plan. And so she had a copy of it on paper. Everybody had laughed at her because she printed everything out on paper. But when the crisis occurred, she was ground zero. One of the tools we advocate in our findings from our research is really to do tabletop exercises or other kinds of fire drills where you think about we're in the middle of a cyber crisis. How are we going to communicate with, pick your constituency, your customers, your suppliers? And then you do the what if. Well, what if that mode of communication is down? How are we going to communicate with them? In a cyber incident, you may not know everything for days, weeks, months, maybe even longer. So you have to communicate with your stakeholders with incomplete information. So in the moment, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of urgency. Everybody wants an answer really quickly. And it's really important to have thought through ahead of time, what are you going to say in a cyber crisis that will help you when or if the situation actually arises. So there are different reasons why you might want to handle different stakeholders differently in a cyber crisis. For example, you may have customers who are larger customers than other customers. You might want to reach out to them one-on-one. Maybe you want an executive contacting them. You may have a lot of smaller suppliers, smaller customers that don't require quite the same attention. Their involvement with your company is not as deep. Oftentimes, malware is somehow inserted into a system. It could be months, maybe even years before it's actually activated. It could be because a supplier unwittingly logged into your systems and they had some sort of malware on their system that was transitioned over to your system. It might be because some employee clicked on a link or a phishing email that they shouldn't have clicked on, and that introduced malware into the system. We need to think about building protections, but also devoting a significant amount of resource to the response and recovery. Because I think it's highly likely that if your organization hasn't experienced a cyber incident, it will at some point in the future. And you don't want to wait till that incident occurs to then put your cyber crisis communication plan in place, or your tabletop exercises in place, or your phone list of who's going to call whom.
Open your eyes.